Welcome to Unity with Pam, with your host, Pam Willis-Hovey.
Hello and welcome to Unity. We are here on location with a wonderful lady. We're talking about the Miss Georgia pageant. They're celebrating their 70 years of doing pageantry. And we have the 2005 Miss Georgia, Miss Monica Pong. Want to say welcome to Unity.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Well, you know, I'm a Tom girl. My sister is the girly girl. She's the fashionista, the model. So, Lisa, this show is dedicated for you. Tell my viewers, what made you get into pageantry?
You know what, I actually did it on a whim. I was at the University of Georgia. It was my last year of college. And I thought, you know, I've seen a couple of my friends do the pageant, and I might as well give it a shot and see if I can get some scholarship money. The funny thing is that I didn't expect to win. I thought, well, maybe at most I would get first runner-up and I could get $500 of scholarship money. I ended up winning and didn't realize at the time that I had to go on to the state pageant. So that was my first experience. It was a bit of a surprise to go on to the state pageant.
What made you want to step up and do it? I know you're talking about scholarship. There's other things you could have done. What made you say, you know what, this is for Monica, I'm going to do it?
You know, I had a couple of people throughout the years that had mentioned this idea to me, one of which was somebody from Greenville, and he knew that I had played piano, and so he really encouraged me to use my talent, to use the school and the studying that the education I had received, and he felt like I was very well spoken, and he thought, you know, you should give it a shot, and I listened. So.
You speak about piano. I'm telling you, if you go out on, type her name in, Monica Pong, P-A-N-G, the girl, there's a shot where it just looks like she's into the zone. How long have you been playing the piano?
I started when I was in second grade, and I took lessons all the way up through high school. Had an amazing and inspiring piano teacher, and she was a classical teacher, so you know, discipline was the utmost of importance to her, and she taught me a lot, and I think I used a lot of those skills not only in the pageant but outside of that as well.
What was your platform? You know, every Miss Georgia contestant has a platform.
Right.
What was yours? Mine
was America's Promise, and it's still an amazing organization. Colin Powell initially founded it, and it's a great organization that actually supports a lot of other charitable organizations that focus on children, making sure that they have a solid foundation so they can be successful later on in life.
One thing I want to ask you about too, currently now since Miss Georgia, you transcended on, you stay in California now. Mm-hmm. So how did you get from being a Southern girl to being West Coast?
It was an interesting path for me. After Miss America, I had some success there, and I think I got a little bit of recognition for that, and I got some amazing opportunities. I actually made a pit stop in Malaysia before I made it to Los Angeles, and did a little bit of some time there working in entertainment. I came back, and I had met my now boyfriend who lives in Los Angeles, and I thought, well, maybe I'll try my hand at some entertainment in Los Angeles. He's there, and so I drove out, and the rest is history.
You also, you're going to college in California, mm-hmm. and I was reading on the internet, you want to be a dietitian.
I do.
Why?
You know, there have been a lot of instances in my life where family members, friends, either struggled with a weight problem or they struggled with eating disorders, and eating disorders is really an area that I would like to focus on. You know, especially growing up, I also danced when I was younger, growing up in the dance world, and then coming into pageants. I don't think people realize the pressures that are on young women and men even to not eat or to look a certain way, and I really want to address that with what I'm learning and what I'm doing.
When you talked about there's a lot of pressures on the way people look, and that's true.
Yeah.
I have to say the entertainment world puts a lot of pressure on it. What kept you from not falling prey to that?
Well, that's a good question. I think, I don't know exactly what it was, but the way I was brought up and seeing, you know, I'm a multicultural girl. I came from a family of a Chinese parent and an American parent, and I think I got to see a lot of different things around the world and different cultures, and so I respected a lot of different cultures as well. And they taught me to be very accepting of others in a way to accept myself because I was a little bit different. I think that instilled a lot of confidence in me, and I think one of the ways that we can also instill confidence and self-esteem in people is by helping them take goals on and achieve those goals, because the more that you achieve, I think the more self-satisfaction that you have.
I want to ask you something real quick. I know we've got probably less than 2 minutes. but you still keep up with Miss Georgia Pageant.
I do.
What do you want to give back to the new contestants that's running?
I mean, I would love to be a sounding board for somebody. I know this particular position can be stressful, and you have a lot of opinions that are coming your way, and you know, you want to do the best job that you can be. And I would love to be that voice where they can come to me and say, you know, what was your experience like, and maybe I can give them a little piece of advice that would be helpful to them.
Well, Monica Pong, I thank you so much
for
doing Unity with Pam. Going to commercial break, then we're coming back with more contestants.
Unity with Pam is being brought to you by these great sponsors.
Hello, this is Pastor Willis of the Move of God Ministry. We come to welcome you to be a part of our ministry. This is not a put on, but this is a come on. And we come to share in our different ministries with our dance team, with our choir, and our TV ministry. And we're looking for great things to happen, great miracles to happen within this place. Come and be a part of the blessing plan.
Come into Chester's Barbecue for our world-famous mouth-watering ribs, smoked fresh on our grill daily. Or try one of our barbecue pork plates with fresh sides. Chester's has delicious sandwich combos to choose from that are sure to please. We also serve tempting home-cooked favorites. And don't forget to take home your own bottle of great sauce. Chester's Barbecue, serving the best food at the best price, with 3 locations to serve you.
Come on in to Sugar's for a sweet taste of Southern cooking. You will be taken back to Sunday dinner at Grandma's house with every bite. Daily specials serving fried chicken, collards, black-eyed peas, also melt-in-your-mouth cornbread. You will want to ask for seconds. Also try one of our homemade desserts. You will be in sweet, sweet heaven. Sugar's offers catering for all your corporate, church, and family gatherings. They will do all the work and save you all the trouble. Sugar's, a taste of Southern cooking.
Hello and welcome back to a special edition of Unity. We are talking to the contestants from the Miss Georgia pageant. In fact, we have the current Miss Georgia, Miss Carly Mathis, and want to go ahead and say welcome to Unity.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here today.
Well, just like I asked another one of the ladies that was a current Miss Georgia, what made you decide to do the pageant?
Well, my mom competed in Miss Georgia in 1985, so I've grown up around the organization. She was also a local director for a few years before I was eligible to compete. So I really did grow up around it, idolized all of these girls, wanted to be just like them. So it's just something that I grew up around, and it's always been my dream.
So it's always been your dream to be Miss Georgia. How does it feel winning it? And she's got the tiara on. Hello.
Yeah, it was almost a relief in a way whenever I won last year because I had been first runner-up the year before. I had a lot of pressure. I felt like that I was just putting on myself to do better than I had done the year before. So I was so excited and relieved and just honored that I had the opportunity to represent Georgia at the Miss America pageant. That is an unreal opportunity, but then to also have this job for a year. Sometimes I still think, I can't believe that I'm Miss Georgia, especially being here this week with all the contestants. It's really weird not competing this year because I competed 3 years. So it's an honor and such a blessing.
So how does it feel being the outgoing? You got to take that tiara off and pass it on.
Yeah, I'm definitely sad. It's exciting for another girl to experience everything that I have experienced. It's been nothing but wonderful and just so much joy this year, so I am excited for another girl, but it is sad to see something that I've dreamed of my entire life come to an end. But I'll always be able to say that I was Miss Georgia, and I'm excited for the next chapter of my life and to be able to continue my education with the scholarship money that I've won. That's a blessing in itself. So I'm excited for the next chapter and to see what God has in store for me.
I like the fact that you're a believer. Tell my viewers, okay, you talk about what you want to do after Miss Georgia. What's going to be for Carly?
I want to continue my education and go to grad school. I have always wanted to attend law school, so I am taking the LSAT again and then applying to law school, but I've also thought about taking the GRE, and I've considered a meteorology degree because I was a broadcast journalism major. I've had a few job opportunities come up this year, which are Amazing. So I'm trying to decide exactly what I want to do in the meantime before I start school. I'm definitely going to work, gain some life experience. So I'm excited to continue my education.
One thing I want to say something on the internet. It talked about children's health, and it
Yes.
talks about that. Is that a passion? Is that something personal for you?
Yes, both. The national platform of the Miss America organization is Children's Miracle Network hospitals. So we are all required to raise a certain amount of money for CMN, which I think is great. We don't really pay much of an entry fee whenever we compete in a local pageant. You are just required to raise a certain amount of money. The Miss America organization has given so much money to Children's Miracle Network. So I've traveled across the state promoting that and visiting kids. And when you see them, you really realize what this organization is all about. But then I also have a personal platform of heart health and heart safety, where I have met a few young children who were born with heart defects. I had the privilege to do an interview on one girl named Abigail here, and she was born with a heart defect and had to have open heart surgery. And then I met another girl named Nia in Atlanta at Sibley who had to have a heart transplant. And she was very young, too young to be having these issues. So my platform and the platform of Miss America organization do go hand in hand.
You know, I did something like that, dealing with children that had a disability, if I may say. Now, that was one of the hardest shows I've ever done.
It is. It puts a lot of things in perspective.
What was that like for you?
It was very emotional, and it was educating and just overwhelming, but then also I got to bring joy into her life just by being there. She didn't care really what I said. I could sit in the room and she would just smile. Nia, for instance, who had the heart transplant, just sang to me. So they're more of inspirations to me than I feel like I am to them, because they are the reason that I do what I do.
Well, we've got just a couple of minutes, and we're talking about a little bit with you. I can see you're passionate about giving back. Then you can see that's in your heart and it's in your eyes. So what do you want to give back? You're Miss Georgia. What do you want to give back to somebody?
I just want to leave the legacy that it really doesn't matter who you are or where you come from, that you can make a difference. And I said that at the Miss America pageant, and they played that on television. I was so glad that they did, because whenever I was younger, I was overweight as a child. I'd always dreamed of being, people always look at me like that. I won swimsuit at Miss America. People say, no, you weren't. No, I really was. And I just worked very hard. I found out that my cholesterol was above 200. At the age of 19, so I knew I had to make some life changers. So you can be the overweight child, the nerdy kid. It doesn't matter who you are. If you have a dream, you can accomplish it with hard work. And that's what I try to tell children all the time. That's why I love going to speak to schools, because it was always a dream of mine to be Miss Georgia, but inside I never really thought that I could do it until I had the support of some people who really helped me reach my full potential, who I'm very grateful for. So you can absolutely accomplish anything.
Well, Miss Carly, thank you so much for doing my
Thank
show.
you.
Hey, I had Miss Georgia on my show. Going to commercial break and then coming back with some more people that work with Miss Georgia.
Unity with Pam is being brought to you by these great sponsors.
Come on in to Sugars for a sweet taste of Southern cooking. You will be taken back to Sunday dinner at Grandma's house with every bite. Daily specials serving fried chicken, collards, black-eyed peas, also melt-in-your-mouth cornbread. You will want to ask for seconds. Also try one of our homemade desserts. You will be in sweet, sweet heaven. Sugars offers catering for all your corporate, church, and family gatherings. They will do all the work and save you all the trouble. Sugars, a taste of Southern cooking.
Hello, this is Pastor Willis of the Move of God Ministry. We come to welcome you to be a part of our ministry. This is not a put on, but this is a come on. And we come to share in our different ministries with our dance team, with our choir, and our TV ministry. And we're looking for great things to happen, great miracles to happen within this place. Come and be a part of the blessing plan.
Hello and welcome back to Unity. You've been hearing about Miss Georgia, and we have the director-producer, Miss Barbara Motis. I want to go ahead and say welcome to Unity.
Thank you so much, Pam.
Now, you've got the big job. What we see on TV all's got to start with you.
It does, and it's a lot of fun.
Tell my viewers, how did you get into doing this?
Well, actually, my husband got me into it. He has performed for almost 40 years at the Springer Opera House and was recruited to be a stage manager for the pageant. And then he brought me along when Oz Roberts was producing and directing, and I became his assistant. So I did scripts and was general gopher. And somehow or other, over the years, after he had to give it up, then I became the producer-director.
So what all goes into putting on Miss Georgia?
Well, actually, my grandchildren tease me because beginning in about October, I start listening to the pop music so that I can pick current music for Miss Georgia. And I've done it long enough now that I can hear a song and I can say, wow, that's a swimsuit number, or that sounds like what I want to use for my opening. I then get an idea of what sets I want to use, and I meet with Bill Rich and usually Jeff Weber, who is a designer. Bill Rich owns Rich Scenery and Lighting. They've done our sets for years and years and our lights. I meet with them, I describe my music and what I'm thinking of for that scene, and they send me drawings, and then we negotiate what I like and don't like, and I come up with finished sets. I also pick the opening number dresses with the help of Keith Pittman at Lasting Impressions. We use Sherry Hill designs for the last several years. So I pick dresses that also fit my music and fit the opening look that I have. So I do that with all of the competition that we have a production number preceding. So usually it's 3 teen numbers and 3 miss numbers when we do the pageant. So those are some of the things I do, and then I get started on scripts. Girls send me their introductions, I edit those and get those into the script. So a lot goes on between the time that one pageant ends. I take about 2 weeks off and I start thinking toward the next pageant.
Tell my viewers, if somebody has never been to Miss Georgia, what would they experience if they came to one of the shows?
Well, that's a good question, because I think some people think it's a pageant, so it's just people up there modeling. It is definitely not that. Our opening number has fire visions in it. It has girls in red and pink dresses. They're dancing, they're moving. I have 3 male dancers. I have a male vocalist. So they will hear good music. They will see lots of interesting things going on the stage in the production numbers. And then they will see the most intelligent, gifted women conduct themselves on the stage in different competitions, so that the judges can pick someone to represent the state of Georgia at the Miss America pageant and the state of Georgia at the Miss America's Outstanding Teen Pageant in Orlando.
What do you want when people are coming to the show? What do you want them to take away from it?
I want them to be impressed with the young women of today. I think sometimes teenagers and young adults are given a bad rap.
Yes.
And we get to meet with the most intelligent, kindest women. My husband and I began as high school teachers, ended as elementary principals, so we've had children of all ages in our lives. And I think that the women, the young women that we work with, keep us inspired and keep us young. So that's one reason that I continue to work with the pageant.
You know, one thing you talked about when you say it's like, I don't want to say a bad rep, but sometimes some things people put out in Hollywood, it gives you the perception that it's going to be a certain way, especially when you see the swimsuits and this, that, and the other. What do you want to break from that stigma of thinking that it's bad?
I think, first of all, swimsuits. I had to get in my mind why we need to do swimsuits. And the swimsuits, we are not looking at a young woman wearing a low-cut swimsuit. What we are looking at is a young woman who has enough self-confidence that she can walk onto that stage, show that she works out and is physically fit, have a smile on her face, and just conduct herself in a manner that we would all be proud to see. And that's the same thing with all the competitions. They are showing what is inside, letting it come out so that the judges can see what kind of strong women they are and what kind of leaders they are and how they will represent our state to everyone that comes in contact with them.
Well, let me ask you real quick, we got 1 minute. What are they judged on?
They are judged on their presence on the stage, how they conduct themselves. They are looked at with the physical fitness, both the teens and the miss. They Mostly it's how they carry themselves, and then in interviews, now I'm not a part of the private interviews they have, then they are showing their intelligence and how well they can speak. So there are many, many facets of the pageant which the young woman gets to portray herself as an intelligent woman.
Well, Miss Barbara, I want to tell you, thank you so much for doing my show.
You
we're
are
going
very
to commercial break, and we're coming back with another contestant from the Miss Georgia pageant. In fact, she is Miss Columbus.
Unity with Pam is being brought to you by these great sponsors.
Hello, this is Pastor Willis of the Move of God Ministry. We come to welcome you to be a part of our ministry. This is not a put on, but this is a come on. And we come to share in our different ministries with our dance team, with our choir, and our TV ministry. And we looking for great things to happen, great miracles to happen within this place. Come and be a part of the blessing plan.
Come into Chester's Barbecue for our world-famous mouth-watering ribs, smoked fresh on our grill daily. Or try one of our barbecue pork plates with fresh sides. Chester's has delicious sandwich combos to choose from that are sure to please. We also serve tempting home-cooked favorites. And don't forget to take home your own bottle of great sauce. Chester's Barbecue, serving the best food at the best price. 3 locations to serve you.
For more than 60 years, the Dairy Queen recipe for success has been simple. It's been a combination of hardworking people, great tasting food, and tempting treats served in our establishments every day. Although a lot has changed in 60 years, some things remain the same. The smiles on children's faces, a treat for a good report card, close friends enjoying a great meal, and families spending quality time together. Here at DQ, we are always committed to treat you right.
Welcome back to Unity with Pam. We are dealing with the Miss Georgia pageant here in Columbus, and I'm telling you, I'm from Columbus. I got Miss Columbus on my show. Woo-hoo. It is Haley Henderson. Welcome.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here with you.
Well, see, now I'm knowing you because I've dealt with you so much with Chick-fil-A.
Yes.
Now I've got to deal with you as a Miss Georgia contestant.
That's right.
And Miss Columbus.
Absolutely.
How did you get to doing all this?
You know, it was strange. My mom and I, we entered a dress shop here in Columbus, Georgia, Lasting Impressions, and just to look at pretty gowns. And there was a lady there that said, hey, do you like being a part of the community? And I said, I love working for the March of Dimes, which is my personal platform. She said, have you ever thought about doing a pageant? I'm like, oh no, I've never thought about that. And she talked to me, and before I left that day, I was already signed up for my first prelim. And I ended up representing Columbus as Miss Columbus State University that year, and then last year's Miss Troup County, and I get to end my pageant career as Miss Columbus, my hometown.
What's it been like?
It's been a blessing. I think the biggest thing is I knew I had the opportunity to go back to Miss Georgia one more time. You age out, can't be 25 at Miss America. And I knew that this is the community that has made me the woman I am. They have supported me, they have believed in me when some have not. And I knew that if I went back as Miss Columbus, I could really give back to the city that made me the woman I am today.
You talk a lot about, well, I'm saying you talk a lot about, let me get this right now. I'm going by internet. But you talk about servant leadership. I hope I got you right.
No, you do. Absolutely. I think it's important. I was in the undergrad program at Columbus State University, a servant leadership program. And I'm actually getting my master's in organizational leadership. And the biggest thing I've seen as individuals, you can be a leader any day, but there's a difference between being a leader and being a servant leader. A servant leader serves from the heart. They see the need in the community. They see the people that, even though you might not even get any credit, it doesn't matter because you are making a difference in somebody else's life. And that change effect will make the community a better place as a whole.
I like something else you talked about, not only serving leadership with the community, you also put on there, serve God.
Yeah.
So how were you able, because I'm a pastor's daughter, you're mixing God in with the pageant too.
You know, the biggest thing in pageants, and I have told this to a lot of my friends who have gotten involved, is you got to be yourself. You can't let a pageant hinder you from being who you are. And for me, God's the reason I'm here. And I will support that and be a light for Him in all that I do. In the pageant world, the only competition is myself. And if the judges do not like me for who I am, then that's okay. I'm going to be me. I'm going to always be me. And I know that every step of the way, God's going to be by our side. And that's in life with anything, not just pageants.
One thing I asked Miss Barbara about the swimsuits, and I saw on the internet, so I'm going by the internet.
Goodness. You've been doing your research.
Yes, you made a comment about that, and there was 4 parts about the swimsuit you commented on.
Yes.
Big girl ain't never heard this, because I wear a whole piece now, whole piece. I ain't in no 2-piece. Okay, but tell people about the parts of the swimsuit and how important that was.
Yeah, I think with swimsuit, everybody thinks, okay, you gotta look a certain way, you gotta be this size. But the biggest thing about swimsuit is being confident in your body. We're all made in different sizes, and that's okay. You don't have to be this perfect, thick, thin person that you see in a magazine. You gotta be you. And I think more importantly, being healthy. Knowing that you gotta take care of your body, you gotta eat the right foods. It's important to exercise. And when you take on that healthy lifestyle, the swimsuit component just gives you that credibility to get out there and to be confident in the skin that you're in.
I like that. You talked about the scholarship, you talked about the style, you talked about the success of it.
That's the 4 points on our crown, in the Miss America crown.
And the service.
Yeah, so that's what's so unique about the Miss America system. We're not just getting out there with a pretty gown. Now, that part is fun, but these girls have worked hard. Every girl at this pageant has a platform that they support, something they believe in, something that they're passionate about. And then the scholarship component. In pageants, in the Miss America system, you win scholarship money. I graduated with my undergrad completely debt-free.
Praise God.
And that is a great blessing. And I'm also going to graduate with my master's degree completely debt-free. And for me, it's showing me that I am able to use the education that I have to help others. And the Miss America system provided that for me.
Should you win,
Yes.
what are you going to do?
If I win Miss Georgia, first most, I'm going to thank God, because I wouldn't be here without him. And I'm going to represent this state to the highest capacity. I'm going to spread my platform with the March of Dimes, also the national platform with Children's Miracle Network. And the biggest thing is I want to show others to believe in themselves. Growing up, I had a severe speech impediment. No one believed in me. I had 4 speech therapists completely give up on me. But then I had one person who saw something in me. And as Miss Georgia, I want to be that for others. I want to be that one person when they think they can't succeed to show them that they can. Because I was that person before. And anybody, if you believe in something, if you have that purpose, if you have that passion, you can achieve it. So as Miss Georgia, that will be my role, to go around this state and possibly this nation to let people know that they and will make a difference.
Wow, I'm telling you, I believe you're going to be a preacher one day. That's what they said to me. Look, we're having.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Hopefully Miss Georgia first.
And I pray that you do get it.
Yes.
I want to tell you, Haley, thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for doing my show.
Thank you.
And remember, show love in the community.
Absolutely.
Thank you for watching Unity with Pam. If you would like to be a sponsor, please contact us or visit unitywithpam.org. Production for Unity with Pam is provided by At Motion Media Incorporated.